Hi, um, here's another one of my videos, and I'm in my anti-prejudice outfit again, my black tank top and black body paint that are currently being used in my anti-bigotry campaign against humans and non-humans of color, against the non-human world, against fellow furries and otherkin, and against the differently abled, and against GLBT people, against the less fortunate and poor, human and non-human alike, and everybody who's been treated unfairly and still is. So, anyway, this video will be talking about the many, my different kin types. As I've said before, I can be any creature as long as it's got a tail. The main creatures that I am are first my human self with a tail, a tufted tail. I can also be my human self with the small prehensile tail that some humans are born with, and occasionally a doctor can't remove that tail, because it's wrapped around an artery or a bone. That's definitely one of my main forms. And then I am a cherub, a wing lion eagle cherub. I am a European wolf and a domestic dog, mainly border collie, also German shepherd, collie, golden retriever quite a bit. Those are the main breeds I tend to shift into. But other than that, I can be I can take any form that has a tail. So, now, in the otherkin community, the terminology, there's a different terminology between polymorph and polykin. I am not polymorph, I am polykin. When I refer to forms, that's not the most accurate way to describe it, so I try not to refer to the shapes I shift into as forms. They are all separate kin types. So, because I can be my kin type is any creature that's got a tail, the list would be impossible to list. However, in this video, I'm going to list a few of the, kin types with tails that I've shifted into, at various times, and some of the notable shifts that I've had, and that, that I remember, and because it was a cool shift, and I still like to shift into. I recently had some dreams. One dream I had where I shifted into a zebra, and another dream where I shifted into a werewolf. And I've shifted into a selkie before, the selkie being a seal therian. The type of seal I shifted into was a northern fur seal. I have also shifted into a pigeon. I have shifted into a black horse. The very first shift I did was back when I was a cub. My very first Halloween costume in this lifetime was a black yak. The inspiration for that actually came from the Yakety Yak sketch on Sesame Street in the 80s, which it was the 80s then. And in spite of refusing to watch Sesame Street, in fact, for years, I was one of those kids who was afraid of Sesame Street. The whole scary Sesame Street thing is pretty well known by now on the internet. But the reason I avoided Sesame Street for years is just because you never know what skit was coming on, and I've always been terrified, especially of surprises if they're scary. So the solution I had to avoid trauma was, rather than risk the trauma happening without without being prepared for it, was to basically just avoid. But now as an adult, I've conquered that fear, and I love old school Sesame Street. New school Sesame Street, I hate. I hate any episode of Sesame Street made after the tragic death of Jim Henson. But Sesame Street before that, awesome. So, however, in spite of being terrified of so many sketches, before I got terrified enough to stop watching it, I really liked a lot of the sketches as a young cub, such as the Yakety Yak sketch. And ironically, a lot of people were afraid of that, but I wasn't. I loved it. So, from watching the Yakety Yak on Sesame Street, I wanted to dress up as a yak, but I added my own creativity to it and dressed up as a black yak. In a way, that's sort of an early progenitor to this black outfit, that fights against prejudice. I'm the black yak against bigotry. So, interesting psychic phenomena there. So, I asked my mom for a black yak costume, and she wasn't able to get me exactly that. It ended up being a Holstein costume, but probably in the future I might, ask for a black yak fursuit, if I can afford it, or maybe I might make it myself. That's a good idea. So, anyway, other notable shifts that I've had. Um, Let me see. I have shifted into a dog angel, like on All Dogs Go to Heaven. The dog angel that I shift into doesn't have that white robe with sleeves, though, which I don't think any dog would necessarily actually wear in heaven because dogs don't wear clothes, and if I wore something, it would be sleeveless. But the that dog form I was just a dog without any clothes, with pink crystal bird wings. Actually, not bird wings; they were pink crystal fairy wings, type wings, like insect type wings that were iridescent and pinkish colored, sparkly, with a halo. And I was a German Shepherd with, somewhat floppy ears, similar, just like Charlie Barkin in that shift. So, what else? Okay. What else? Yeah, that's what I was thinking of that now, but let me try to think if there are other shifts. I'll think about it later, but like as you know, I can be anything that's got a tail. So those were a few of my notable shifts that I've, had. So, see you later.